Good morning, family. It's not just Africans running away from the US at the moment. You would be surprised, people from different countries at the moment are doing everything possible to stay away from the United States as much as possible. I'm sure for those of you who watch news, you know what's going on, but I want to tell you about some of the things that I currently see. I'm in the village, I'm a Kenyan American in the village, but I was shocked to see videos of major airports like JFK, LAX, Atlanta, airports that are almost virtually empty. And those are usually very, very busy airports, especially in the summer, where people are coming into the US for tourism, for all kinds of reasons. But right now, there are many, many people across the world who want nothing to do with the United States. And that's what I want to talk with you about in the next 10 minutes. But before we do all of that, welcome to the village. This is Karating in Kisumu in Western Kenya. Many people are often surprised they never heard about Karating until they got to my channel. And so we are happy to introduce you to this incredible village. It's a place that is very quiet. The only noises you'll hear, let me give you a minute. The only noises you'll hear are from animals and just people doing their own thing. You barely hear any mechanical stuff. And so we love the village because of the quiet life it gives us. And by the way, the village is very inexpensive to live in. Especially if you have your head in the right place. It can be very expensive if you don't know what you're doing. But the village is incredibly affordable and you can live on very little income down here. So if you're a person who is thinking about moving from the city, whether you're living somewhere in Africa and you want to join us in the village, we welcome you. If you are diasporan, and by the way, I work with people from all kinds of backgrounds. Right now, I'm in talks with different groups of African Americans, and some of them are Canadian Americans, some of them are European Americans. Oh, that doesn't make sense. African Americans, I would say black people in Europe, and the black people in the southern part of America. Of course, typically when we almost automatically or instinctively use the word African American to mean black people. And of course, if you're black in Europe, the America part does not come in. But yes, I'm in talks with people of African descent from all over the world who are interested in coming to Africa. Now, I don't know much about moving to other parts of Africa, but I do know a little bit about moving to Kenya. I'm happy to have conversations with you about the transition process, but I'm most skilled about things Kenya. So if you need help with moving to the village in Kenya or just moving to any city in Kenya, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to connect you with people who know more than I do. We have connections with attorneys, we have connections with builders, architects, and things like that. And so if you ever need any support, reach out. If I know it, I'm going to help. But where I have no answers, I'm happy to ask people who do. So anyway, folks, welcome to the village. Today, I just want to talk with you about a phenomenon that is really serious right now. There are many, many people who are canceling vacations to America, who are canceling trips to America and want nothing to do with the United States. For years and years, US has been one of the most visited places. It's actually not number one. You'd be surprised. When you check, the US is not the number one place in terms of tourism and all that. But the US has always been this place where many people just want to come check it out, even if it means visiting for a short while. But at present, there are many, many people who want nothing to do with the US. I see a lot of Canadians canceling business, canceling trips. I see a lot of Europeans who are nothing to do. In fact, there are governments who are sending advisories against visiting the US. So if you don't watch news, let's say you're living somewhere under a rock like me, I almost never watch news unless somebody posts something on social media, but I stay away from news. The truth is, there are people who absolutely hate people that look like me and you. There are people who have trouble living with folks who are different, whether they are different because of race, because of gender, because of all these things. And these people are currently very much in charge of the United States. And so they are translating their hate in ways that are making life very difficult for people who don't look like them or people who are born and raised in countries other than the United States. So I'm going to just share some of the examples of things they've done that makes many people wonder whether it's even worth spending money in the US. And by the way, there are so many people out here very many people out here who do not care about living in the US, but they would be curious to come see, come visit, and go back home. Not everybody wants to come to the US to stick around. There are many, many people who would never live in the US. And so many of these folks are canceling vacation, canceling trips because these bigots, I would say, are going crazy at the moment. I've lived in the US now for almost 2 decades. I've never seen a scenario where they cancel student visas for people who have never done anything, who are just in the US doing their own things. I don't think it's necessarily widespread, but yes, there are cases where the US government cancels visas for students who are just doing their own things. I've never seen that in the years I've been here. And then you have cases where people who handle issues of immigration, because of the current political climate, these people feel very emboldened to just do whatever the hell they want to do. And so the scary thing for us is not necessarily because of bigotry and all that. America has always had bigots. Always, always. But the current political climate makes it very comfortable for bigots within the system to simply break laws because in their minds they think they can just do stuff without consequences. And unfortunately, that may be true to a certain degree. And so then you have people who show up at the border, have valid visas or have valid documentation, who pretty much get terrorized. They pull you aside, they do a frisk, they check your phone, and by the way, at the border, apparently they have much more leeway than you realize. They check your phone, they check your social media handles, and it's very invasive. I remember a long time ago, before I had kids, every single time I would travel to the US, I would be randomly selected for a frisk search where they would simply give me a full body pat down, quote unquote massage. 100% of them randomly selected. I think when I started traveling with kids, then some of that went down, but I would get it every single time I come back. So right now, the chances of you being frisked and asked all kinds of questions is high. The chances of you being denied entry at the border is very high. And so many people are wondering, why would I spend that much money to travel, book a hotel, all that stuff, only to get to the border and to be denied entry into the US? When you could simply go to Europe, you could simply come to Africa. You could simply go to any other places where you will be welcomed and your money will be respected. If there's one thing that I know universally people hate, is disrespect. Especially when they're paying for stuff. You're not doing them a favor. When you're paying for stuff and then in return you get respect, people hate that kind of thing. And so unfortunately, all this stuff ends up harming just regular Americans who are just going about life, have nothing to do with this stuff. And by the way, the majority of people I've encountered in America are exceptionally nice people. Just ordinary people who have nothing to do with anything, are just doing their life. Like people who are employed in the hospitality, tourism industry, many of them are now suffering. Those who are in the airlines industry, when they are canceling flights, people are not traveling for vacation. They are just ordinary Americans who are just working their butt off to just take care of their kids, who now have to deal with all of this. Because the people who make decisions are not suffering the consequences of what's going on. So yes, America when we moved many years ago was something. The America we have today is very different. I promise you, it's very different. And I'm not saying this to discourage you from coming to America. All I'm saying is that the changes you hear about in the news are real. And they affect real people. I've had cases where they do immigration raids in ways that I've never seen in 20 years. I've never seen anything like that. So I don't know how widespread it is. But the pockets of nasty things going on are enough to scare people to the point where governments are advising their people to stay away from America. So I'm very sad from the perspective that America has been exceptionally kind to me. I've gotten so many opportunities I've never gotten otherwise. But the kind of America they are creating now is something else. But for those who have lived in America for generations, especially black and brown folks who've lived for years, these kinds of bigoted acts are not new. There are generations that have suffered far, far worse experiences. It's just that if you are outside the US, you may not even know the kinds of things they've done to black and brown people in the US. So it is true that America is a big mixed bag of blessing. So many good things that I would totally vouch for. But currently, there are certain things going on in America that would give me pause. Uh, Especially if you are comfortable in your country, you have your own money, like higher education right now. I don't know if I would recommend that anybody goes to college right now, because they even are talking about multiplying the cost of visas. And of course, the trend is they make it way more expensive, and you get to the embassy, they deny you visas. So they'll take your money and not give you the visa, because ultimately, clearly, they don't want us. The basic truth, and I'm going to be very honest with you, there are very many people who don't want us in America. The only reason they tolerate some of us is because of what they get from us. Some of us are very highly skilled in our ways, and so we help run some of these economies. They will take that, or they'll be happy to take your money. But there are people who really don't want us. So the question becomes, if you have a choice, would you still want to go to a place where, at a bare minimum, you're simply tolerated? I know 4 years is a long time, but it'll come to pass. What I don't know is the kind of America they're going to leave behind. I don't know what it's going to look like. But America today is not the America that we went to 20 years ago. Thank you for listening, folks, and I will see you in the next. Bye.